We are closing out the year with one of the hottest new IPs of the entire year, and it was a game that kinda came out of nowhere but became instantly a top anticipated title. It's the game and the debut title from Striking Distance Studio, the Callisto Protocol. Now, there's a lot to know about this game, but right off the top, you should know that Striking Distance Studio, while it is a brand new studio, it does have industry veterans, and the game is directed by Glenn Schofield, who was the director of the original Dead Space game. The Callisto Protocol being a survival horror game, obviously it was going to inherently have quite a bit of interest. However, that is only going to get you so far. It is when people saw the gameplay of the Callisto Protocol, when we got the vibe of the game, that people really began being incredibly excited about the game. And it's a survival horror game that is going to stand on its own 2 feet by the looks of it, outside of any prior history of the development studio, of the director. This is a game that you should absolutely have on your radar. And new IPs, it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to get excited for them. Callisto Protocol, from a personal standpoint, is one that I am incredibly excited for. The official website gives us a bit of an introduction to the game. Welcome to Black Iron, the setting of the Callisto Protocol. Set on Jupiter's moon Callisto in the year 2320, the Callisto Protocol is a next-generation take on survival horror. The game challenges players to escape the maximum security Black Iron prison and uncover its terrifying secrets. A blend of horror, action, and immersive storytelling, the Callisto Protocol game aims to set a new bar for horror in interactive entertainment. Still has that survival horror action vibe going on for it, but this is a game that looks incredibly immersive, and the atmosphere the game is building, that is one of the elements that immediately compelled me. Survive to escape the horrors within Callisto. In this narrative-driven third-person survival horror game set 300 years into the future, the player will take on the role of Jacob Lee, a victim of fate thrown into Black Iron Prison, a maximum security penitentiary located on Jupiter's moon Callisto. When inmates begin to transform into monstrous creatures, the prison is thrown into chaos. To survive, Jacob must battle his way to safety to escape Black Iron Prison while uncovering the dark and disturbing secrets buried beneath the surface of Callisto. Using a unique blend of shooting and close quarters combat, Jacob will need to adapt his tactics to combat the rapidly evolving creatures while scavenging to unlock new weapons, gear, and abilities to outrun the growing threat and escape the horror of Jupiter's dead moon. It is a next-generation take on survival horror. However, bear in mind that the game will also be available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, so if you're still on last gen, you're going to be able to check the game out, so don't worry too much about that. Blending atmosphere, tension, and brutality with terrifying moments of helplessness and humanity, the Callisto Protocol immerses players in a pulse-pounding story where unspeakable horrors lurk around every corner, and it notes a brutal strategic combat system. The Callisto Protocol challenges players to master a thrilling blend of melee and range combat, including a unique gravity weapon once used by Black Iron guards to control the prison population. Players will be forced to get up close and personal with their grotesque opponents, hacking off limbs, blasting off legs, and getting creative with whatever is at their disposal to survive each life or death encounter. Now, this game is set in a prison, however, it's crawling with these grotesque infected humanoid monsters called the Biophage. These enemies range from freshly turned creatures still wearing guard uniforms to skittering wall-climbing freaks with optical camouflage capabilities, as noted on the PlayStation blog. Their movements are erratic, unnerving, and pack surprising lethality. Never let your guard down and prepare to learn some hard lessons. Now, as far as creature design, I feel like that is a very, very underrated and important element of a horror game, especially what's touting itself to be a next-generation horror game. Immersion is at its utmost importance, and if you want to get people truly horrified, well, again, you need some grotesque monsters, and this game, its creature design is pretty out there, but grotesque is probably the best word we can use to describe it. As far as the actual enemies go, again, they are absolutely grotesque, and at Gamescom back in August, they introduced a lot of elements of the mutations. The creatures in the Callisto Protocol are called Biophage. They're inmates at Black Iron Prison who have been transformed by a mysterious outbreak that has thrown the moon into chaos. As the contagion ravages the host body, it spreads through a series of tentacles that vilely erupt out of their flesh, creating a pretty grotesque outer appearance. When the tentacles emerge, the player has a short window to kill kill the virus with a few well-placed shots at the tentacle before they can wreak further havoc on their host. Kill the virus and you get a quick takedown of an enemy. Miss, and yeah, it's gonna end up pretty badly for Jacob. If the player fails to take down a biophage when the tentacles emerge, the virus takes over the creature and sets off a series of hideous mutations that make them even stronger and thus becoming harder to kill and generally more deadly than before. Fail to stop the mutations on multiple creatures at once and players will face a mob of monstrous bloodthirsty foes. So what you're looking at is you're going to have to beat these enemies efficiently, quickly, and make sure the mutations don't overwhelm you. It's gonna add a little bit of high pressure situations to the game as well, which I think for a horror game is gonna end up being perfect. And they also noted while the Callisto Protocol is a survival horror game, we wanted to make sure to occasionally mix up the kind of horrors players experience. Sometimes Jacob is feeling his way through a dark prison corridors. Sometimes he's flailing for his life in an uncontrollable slide into the depths of the prison's sanitation system. During this moment, players must avoid environmental hazards as they thrash in the unstoppable current, and of course, a brutal over-the-top death awaits for those who fail to make it out alive. I feel like death animations is something that a horror game, an action horror game, especially a bigger budget one, for some reason really wants to get right, and it looks like they put some emphasis with the Callisto Protocol. The melee combat is also going to be at the heart of gameplay. It's not going to be last resort melee weapons that some horror titles have. Rather, Jacob's electrified baton is a cornerstone for survival, delivering light blows with R1 and heavy attacks with R2. Your controller may vary. The buttons and is a key when setting up skill shots. Successful melee combos trigger skill shots. A reticle appears on an enemy's body. Quickly tapping the L2 causes Jacob to auto-aim to that weak spot, and then you'll deal heavy damage. This is going to allow you to take out enemies very efficiently, and you're going to end up saving ammo, which is an important part of the game. Obviously, on top of that, you can block attacks and you can dodge attacks as well, so it's gonna have more of a gameplay emphasis than some just straight horror titles would have you. That's why it is more of a survival action horror game, but it will offer an immersive gameplay style as well, and you're gonna have gravity weapons on top of that. The GRP gravity weapon allows Jacob to pick up enemies and objects. The GRP is great for crowd control, flinging enemies to create space, and even finding loot stashed out of reach. Each use of the GRP expands a battery, so choose carefully, and then you'll have environmental kills as well, flinging your enemies into nasty hazards like spinning meat grinders and razor-sharp fan blades. This is used with your GRP as well and will allow stylish environmental kills. Well, stylish might not be the exact terminology that some of you might use, but nonetheless, your mileage may vary on that one. On top of the melee combat, you'll have your range weapons as well, but you're gonna have to conserve ammo. You'll have your trusty handgun as well. However, ammo is going to be at a premium, and that's one aspect that the game really seemed to go for in terms of efficiently utilizing ammo and utilizing that ammo when necessary. And if you have the option to go the melee route, you probably want to do that because that's gonna conserve ammo the best. Again, hand cannon, shotgun. You're gonna have various gear upgrades with Callisto credits that are scattered around the prison and can be exchanged at shop kiosks for ammo, health, and invaluable gear upgrades. So it's gonna have a progression RPG system as well going on for it. Injectors are available throughout Black Iron Prison, but this is going to be very few and far between, and when you get them, Jacob has to take a stop, take a knee, and slowly inject himself until the meter on the back of his neck fills up green. And this isn't something where if you're in the midst of a heavy battle, you could just use an injection whenever you want. You need to buy yourself a little bit of time so you can actually use that. And again, scavenging throughout the game is going to allow you to get stuff like ammo that hopefully will take out the enemies. And every second is going to matter when it comes to healing because the enemies are always going to be on your tail. The game also notes exploration. It's not going to be a big open title. However, there's going to be elements where you can go into various areas, maybe scavenge for ammos, etc., etc. I do want to note a couple of things before rounding out this video. If you're a fan of survival horror action titles, this is one that absolutely should be on your radar. The game is going to be released on December the 2nd. Now, it will be $59.99 on PlayStation 4. That'll be the Day 1 edition. The PlayStation 5 version's Day 1 edition will be $69.99. You'll get the PS4 version as well. With the Day 1 edition, you will get the Contraband Pack, you'll get the Retro Prisoner Skin, and of course you'll get the base game. There is a Digital Deluxe Edition, which will be $79.99 on PlayStation 4 and $89.99 on PlayStation 5. That includes the PlayStation 4 version as well. That'll include the Day 1 edition content, but on top of that, you will get the Season Pass, so that might be something you want to end up looking at if you're trying to get all the content right out the gate with the Season Pass as well. $20 more expensive, but given the content of the season pass and the fact that additional content is coming, might be something again that you want to look at. There is a collector's edition still available for pre-order. It's $240, includes a Jacob statue, a steelbook, collectible pins, a sketchbook, digital content, and a copy of the game as well. Again, $240 on that, so I don't know how many of you guys are gonna be looking out for that. One final thing to note: if you want free content for the game, you can get exclusive content with your Krafton ID. Connect your favorite gaming platform with a Krafton ID to claim exclusive Snake character and weapon skins when the game launches on December 2nd for PC and console. Follow the steps in the website. That's the Callisto Protocol official website. You can log in or register by clicking the button on the website. Link platform, link your Krafton ID with the platform where you plan to play the Callisto Protocol, and then enter the game. See the exclusive Founders Pack the next time you enter game. So some free content for you guys to check out. By the time the game launches, it will be there for you to check out. But that is going to do it for me. Again, outside of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, on PlayStation and Xbox, this is probably the biggest game that is coming out. And most people, I think, would say that given that Crisis Core is a remaster, this is a brand new IP, a big budget title, Callisto Protocol probably takes the cake in terms of most anticipated game for the rest of the year. We only got a month and a half left, but even going back to like June, when we were first really starting to understand what this game was going to be, it was one of the most anticipated games then as well. But that's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.